All right, everyone. So in interest of time, I know we're a few minutes past 3 o'clock, so I wanted to start off our session today. Welcome to all of our students who are joining us for the nutrition session this afternoon. I appreciate you guys carving out some time. I know for some of you, you may just be waking up. Others of you, you may be doing schoolwork all day or maybe getting to enjoy some time outside, but I do appreciate you, again, logging on and joining us today. My name is Dr. Jessica Syed, and I am the Senior Assistant Director of Admissions here at Rowan. And before we get started, I just wanted to do some quick housekeeping on how the session will run. So today we will go over our nutrition program, and I'll be passing the mic over to our faculty in just a few minutes. But I want to let our students know that we can't see you or hear you. Hopefully you can see or hear us and also see the screen. We have a slide up right now. But for you to communicate in, if you look on the right-hand side of your screen at the Q&A feature, you'll be able to write in questions throughout the entire presentation. So we will spend some time presenting, but we really want to focus on you and the questions that you guys have. So throughout the presentation, please write in any questions or comments that you have. We'll be trying to answer every single question. So again, make sure that you're getting your questions answered throughout the course of this presentation. So just to get everyone familiar with that Q&A feature and just to get to know everyone in the room, I know for students, it looks like you may be the only person in here with us, but you are not alone. We have close to 20 other students in the session as well. So there is definitely a lot of people logged onto their computers hanging out with us today. So to get us started, if everyone wants to type into that Q&A feature, let us know where you're from. Let's say what high school you're at, if you're a freshman or a transfer student, if you are an accepted student for fall class of 2024, let us know so we can congratulate you. And then everyone knows who's been in these sessions with me before, I'm always trying to look for my next recipe to make or another show to watch on Netflix. So give me a recipe recommendation. Let's stick with the recipe since we're in a nutrition session. I just finished Ozark last night, so I am looking for another Netflix show if anyone wants some extra credit to add that in. But let's see what you guys are cooking or you guys are coming from, and then we'll get started. So we have Aureus. It's great to, again, see you virtually making strawberry cream waffles. My gosh, that sounds amazing. We have Jenny from Haddonfield who's transferring into Rowan this fall. Awesome. Welcome, Jenny. Who else do we have? You guys are shy today, a little quiet on the typing end. All right, we have Desiree from Hamilton, accepted transfer student coming in as a junior. Awesome, welcome. A lot of accepted students, that's great, super exciting, and we can't wait to see you guys on campus. Everyone virtually has been really nice, but we're excited to see everyone on campus as well. Hi, Devora, we have another transfer student. We have a lot of transfers in this session, that's great. And we have a couple more accepted students in here as well. Elizabeth from Egg Harbor Township, starting at Rowan 2020 as a transfer. Samantha from Seneca, Dutch apple crumble pie. That sounds delicious. That's amazing. I think I've made some good pasta this time at home, so I need some definite help in the kitchen. So this is good. We have Nadia, transfer student, making chocolate peanut butter protein pancakes. That sounds amazing. I'm going to need a delivery to my house. That would be great. And we have Diana as a transfer student from OCC. This is great. So we have a lot of transfer students, some accepted students. So again, congratulations to all of our accepted students today. We have Noor, West Windsor, Plainsboro, I'm thinking, high school, North. Hello, nice to see you guys. All right, great. So keep chatting in, drop any recipes or Netflix suggestions. Let us know who you are so we can congratulate you. But most importantly, make sure you guys are asking the questions that you have, and we'll circle back to those at the end of the presentation. So at this point, I will pass it over to Dr. Tennyson to start the presentation.
Okay, so my name is Louie Tennyson, and I am the coordinator of the nutrition programs and the director of the coordinated master's program in nutrition and dietetics. So I'm going to talk about the two tracks that we have, the BS in nutrition and exercise science, and the BS in exercise science with a concentration in dietetics. So to begin with, just a brief overview of our nutrition programs. We have a BS MS coordinated master's program in nutrition and dietetics, and this program is accredited through the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And what that means is that we follow all the guidelines outlined by our professional organization, the Professional Organization of Registered Dietitians. They have an educational component called Ascend, and Ascend has policies and procedures, and we need to adhere to those. And then on a regular basis, they come and have a few days where they look at everything that we are doing on campus, as well as interview faculty and students and our preceptors, and they continue our accreditation. So we just went through that this year. All students that would come to our coordinated program enter into Rowan University as a freshman or a transfer student and take all the prerequisites that are required, the sciences, and anything that could be left over before you apply to the coordinated program. The application period is in the spring, and the deadline is February 15th every spring. And we have an admissions committee. We look through the applications, we interview everyone, and we accept at this point 15 students in every cohort annually. So we just accepted our fourth class or our fourth cohort. Once you start the coordinated program as a junior, you continue until you complete a master's degree in nutrition and dietetics. So the coordinated part of it is 3 years, and you graduate with a master's degree. Our first class is graduating in August of 2020. So that's very exciting for us. So as I mentioned before, the coordinated program meets all the requirements to become a registered dietitian with a master's degree. Importantly, the master's degree will be required to sit for the RD examination in the year 2024. So that's coming up very soon. And after the completion of the program, including the master's degree, you have acquired enough supervised practice hours that as a program director, I can give you the necessary paperwork so that you can sit for the registered dietitian examination. So the mission of our program, the coordinated program, is that we prepare entry-level registered dietitian nutritionists for competent professional practice in a variety of settings. We hope that our students will perhaps work in food service, research, as well as hospitals, community healthcare, private practice, whatever their interest happens to be. And because of the requirements of the program and the breadth of the experiences that we are required to make available to you, you do have the ability then to enter into a lot of different areas. And we hope that our graduates will possess the skills to facilitate positive nutritional habits and positive nutritional outcomes in a variety of populations. So as part of a coordinated program, what that means is that you do some didactic work in the classroom where you're learning about medical nutrition therapy, or you're learning about food science, or you're learning about nutrition throughout the life cycle. And then to complement that, we have experiences in the junior year and the senior year where you go out, hopefully very soon we'll be able to go out into the field, as we call it, where you work alongside dietitians at WIC or dietitians in the grocery stores. You may work in food service operations, in school nutrition. So that's why we call it coordinated, where you have classroom time and you also work applying what you have learned in the classroom out in the field. So as part of our program, we have clinical rotations within Spira Health System. You do that in your graduate year. We have a variety of food service rotations could be another university, it could be in a hospital, it could be in a corporation that is large enough to have their own food service operation. We place students in schools around the area. We have placed students in wellness rotations. There are several organizations or companies that hire dietitians to do like wellness in the workplace or individual counseling. We have a lot of Rowan faculty that are conducting a lot of great research. And so we're able to place our students with those faculty to learn hands-on research skills. And we're also building our program to include sports nutrition, bariatric, and experience in eating disorders. And as the program continues to grow and expand, we're always looking for new opportunities for our students. So for a dietitian, the growth rate is expected to be somewhere around 15% by the year 2026. The average starting salary is around $60,000 a year. And so dietitians can work in a lot of different areas. They can work in a hospital, and that's what we think of first, and we call that clinical practice. They can also work in the community. There are a number of community centers that serve the low income or the underinsured, and dietitians work there. They also work in grocery stores. You could work in the food industry. You could work in the schools. A lot of the schools are hiring dietitians because there's a lot of children with food allergies, and it's just really important to have some component of nutrition in schools. Or you can work in private practice where you have your own counseling. And also there's a lot of dietitians that work in the media, and perhaps they have a web presence, they're on Instagram and have a number of followers. So it's really diverse, and I think a lot more opportunities are going to open up in the future. So as I mentioned a little bit before, this class that we just accepted is our 4th class, and our very first graduates will be in August 2020. So we've been in existence since 2015, and we've been growing and adding faculty as well as different kinds of experiences and rotations. But one thing that we are very proud of is that we have a secured clinical rotation with Inspira Health Systems. So that means that all of our students spend time in the Inspira hospitals. So it's a very consistent approach to educating you in clinical nutrition. Everyone that's in the class has the same experiences across the board and rotate through cardiology or oncology, intensive care, those kinds of consistent rotations, very similar. And the preceptors are all trained so that each of the students in the program receives similar assignments. And so we like that. It's not a lot of difference in what you would acquire clinically if we had 15 students in 15 different hospitals. So that's unique to Rowan, and I think it's one of the best features of our program. So in the next 5 years, we hope to continue the growth so that we can have more students in each cohort, and we expect to add opportunities in sports nutrition, health and wellness, and health coaching. And it's very important for a program to reevaluate itself constantly and make sure hitting all the marks so that everyone passes the RD exam. As a program coordinator, I'm held accountable to that. And so we do everything that we can to make that happen. And of course, we want a high employment rate after graduation. The second degree pathway we have at this time is a non-RD pathway, and it's a degree nutrition and exercise science. It actually would continue on to say with a concentration in exercise science, but it sounds silly when I say it, so I kind of avoid saying it. However, that's really the way to describe it. The curriculum does blend nutrition courses with exercise physiology classes that would be the same that other exercise-based programs in our department the students would take these same classes. So you can see the list there. Obviously, personal training, kinesiology, exercise prescription. You can see that you would be blending nutrition with very detailed information about exercise. So that's the degree, Nutrition and Exercise Science. So what's a goal then of an individual who chooses not to take the registered dietitian pathway but pursue this degree? If you're very, very interested in both nutrition and exercise science and you would like to work in a health-related field, in education or counseling, in a fitness center or a community or school-based wellness and fitness program, this would be ideal for you. And in complementing that, we have a lot of certificate programs that might be of benefit to you, such as a health coaching certificate that you can earn with just 4 classes. So you could be a health coach with expertise in nutrition and also exercise science. So what are the requirements about that degree? Exercise science, you maintain a GPA of a 2.0 and you complete an internship in the final semester, and it's a 9-credit, 400-hour internship. So you want to choose an internship that would help launch your career. So perhaps you want to, work as a personal trainer, then you might choose an internship aligned with someone who does personal training. So as far as the degree program for nutrition and exercise science, we do see some changes in the future and growth and opportunity. So we are going to change the name of the degree to a BS in nutrition with a concentration in sports nutrition, and give the graduates of that more options to take different classes. We want to look carefully at the curriculum, what the courses look like, update it, make it more relevant. Since it was formed in 2015, it's very important as educators to look at everything every 4 or 5 years. What's the job market like? Are our classes meeting the demand for the job market? How can we make it a better program and add more opportunities for our students? So it definitely will be growing and changing in the next 5 years. And that is the end of my program. So I will open it up to questions.
Great, thank you. So it looks like we don't have a ton of questions yet from students coming in, but I'll start off with a few. So students, just as a reminder to make sure that you are using that Q&A feature on the right-hand side of your screen. So any questions, again, nothing is off limits. Make sure that you guys are using this time to find out what you are interested in about the nutrition program here. But I'll start out with a couple questions that I think would be beneficial for all of our students. So could you talk a bit, and this has come up in some of our other sessions, if faculty are accessible, how a student would reach out to faculty, and are faculty approachable? Would you be able to go to class, form a relationship with your faculty member, and what does that look like in the classroom within your program?
Okay, I'll go first, and then I'll let Dylan speak. We have a nutrition care club, which I am the faculty advisor. So even though I teach upper level classes in the junior and senior year, because that club is open to freshmen and sophomore, I've been able to meet the freshmen and the sophomore students in the nutrition program, and I attend all the meetings. So, I sit right next to the students, so they, can get to know me in that way. But I'd have to say that because our classes are small at Rowan, and the faculty are always, not always, but most of the time they're in their office, it seems as students are coming into the health and exercise science suite, and they'll pop in and ask questions, and the faculty, I would say, are very warm and welcoming, and we have a lot of students that come in and out of our department quite a bit, spend time in our conference room studying and things like that. Once the students are in my classes in the junior and senior year, I get to know them very well because I teach a lot of the upper level classes. So I have them several times in a row. And, I make myself available to the students to answer their questions pretty much, by email or in person or office hours as much as possible.
Yeah, I'll just follow up and introduce myself. So I'm Dr. Dalen Klein. I'm also in the Department of Health Exercise Science. I teach a variety of nutrition courses. I teach macronutrients, micronutrients, principles of food science, and nutrition for fitness. And then some of the summer online graduate level courses as well. Most of my responsibilities as faculty or in addition to teaching, research. So I guess just to kind of give you an idea of my experience with students, both in the classroom and then in the lab, most of my students that are helping out with research projects, they come out of the classes that I teach. So as faculty that do have research agendas that we're constantly building and developing. We're always looking for students that are not only intelligent, but are looking for research experience and are looking to sort of expand their repertoire of techniques and knowledge base and foundation, developing the scientific method. So, I mean, I had 6 students this past year helping out on research projects, and they're constantly coming in early in the mornings, late in the evenings, handling subjects, screening subjects, collecting data. And I basically made a workstation in my office for students to come in to analyze diet records. So as far as accessibility and interaction with the professors, I think we have a really good relationship with our students, and we're constantly trying to build upon that, whether it is with clubs in the classroom or with research. So there's a lot of different avenues that you can form a relationship with your professors at Rowan.
Great. So we have a question from Desiree, and Desiree asks, is there any help or assistance in finding internships specific to our interests in the field?
Okay, so is she interested in the dietetics path or the nutrition and exercise science?
Desiree, let us know. You can chat in, but I guess if you want to speak generally about it, in case we have students from both, that would be interesting.
Okay, that's a good way to go about it. So I'll start with the dietetics program. The dietetics program, we have to meet certain competencies and guidelines. So we are responsible for securing all of the internships, and we schedule them according to whether you're in your junior year or your senior year. And then in your graduate year, we take that cohort of students and we give you a survey and we say, what are you more interested in, spending time in bariatric surgery, or are you more interested in sports nutrition, or are you more interested in, health and wellness? And then as much as we can, we try to individualize and create experiences where you spend more time in what you're really interested in. But we seek those relationships because we have to come into a legal agreement with them. We call them affiliation agreements, and set them up and train them and so on. So in the dietetics program, it's all on the coordinator, which happens to be me. And then in the nutrition and exercise science, the students can find their own if they're interested in a particular thing. But most of the time, the faculty is pretty helpful in either posting things on what we call a hoot board, or what's available as far as experiences. Sometimes we talk among each other because there's a lot of internships that take place in our department. And so if you have something, that you have been working at maybe a physical therapy or occupational therapy center and you want to continue there, that's one way of doing it. But the faculty is also there to help and guide you. But the students in nutrition and exercise science, they do the footwork, so to speak, to find their internship.
Yeah, and that's not to say that it's difficult. It's usually pretty easy to find a lot of these opportunities because, like Ms. Tennyson said, faculty are posting opportunities or no practitioners in the field, be it physical therapists, occupational therapists, dietitians, you name it. There's usually no shortage of opportunities. It's just a matter of kind of going back to what we were talking about before, you building a relationship with the faculty and getting, a feel for who knows what and being able to ask the right questions. So if you can do that, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get the opportunities that you're looking for.
That's great. Thank you, guys. So we had a few questions from our transfer students coming in, but I think this could also pertain to incoming freshmen. So we have students coming in with varying levels of credits, even freshmen coming in directly from high school. Sometimes students are taking dual enrollment credits while they're in high school with local community colleges or even coming in with AP credits. So could you talk a bit about how credits may generally transfer in if a student has either a full degree or a substantial amount of credits as a transfer student? Would they be able to get through the program more quickly? And maybe also touch on generally advising and what that looks like within the major.
Okay, so the actual specifics, you're going to go through the registrar's office and they make most of the decisions about the transfer credits. If it's a specific class that's perhaps like you transfer from the University of Delaware and you do have nutrition courses that are very similar to our nutrition courses, then you would talk to Lori Dwyer, who is our program advisor, and she coordinates the transfer of those classes. So what we do is you submit the syllabi from all of the classes that you want to be considered to Lori. She gives them a general look over, sends them to me. I will compare that syllabus to a class that we offer, make sure that it lines up to what we're teaching, and then we would accept that credit. The same goes for if you have science classes, like a chemistry class you're trying to transfer in. That program coordinator or the chair of chemistry has to look at that chemistry class and decide if it's, a good substitute for, the rigor of our chemistry. So it's not that I can't say exactly what's going to transfer in because it really depends on the class that you took and where you took it. So it varies for everyone, but I certainly will look at any syllabi that somebody wants me to look at. Let's see. So as far as can you get a little bit ahead? Yes, we do have students that transfer in that have some nutrition classes that they don't have to take. And so when they apply to the program, we kind of take that into consideration. And if there's room in the class ahead, we have placed students ahead if there's room.
So Samantha wants to know about the future of sports nutrition. So if you could talk generally about that.
Okay, so we, our faculty all have a very high level of interest in sports nutrition, and it's just a natural fit for our department. And so we started out, last year was my first year. Dalen and I, or excuse me, Dr. Klein and I both came to Rowan last year, trying to seek opportunities for research and a connection with the athletic department. And we had luck because, just through connections, Dr. Klein was able to connect us with the men and women's swim team. And we started working with them in the fall of 19. And we probably would have continued this spring, but due to the pandemic, that wasn't possible. So our hope is that we can continue to work with Rowan University athletes. I think the athletic director is interested in a team approach to nutrition, being involved in, as well as other aspects of the health and exercise science department, being involved in our athletic teams. So there's a number of different things we're hoping to do, which is research with our athletic department, but we're also trying to create opportunities that are benefits and win-win for both. So we started out doing team nutrition education, and we want to continue that, where we talk about fueling for athletes pre and post event and in training and in recovery and injury. And then we'd like to move that to individual counseling on those same areas. So we expect that hopefully when Rowan University opens again, we'll continue expanding those opportunities. Do you want to add to that, Dr. Klein?
Yeah, it's I've actually since we've been home so much, I've been working on some protocols that hopefully we can submit to actually start doing some research with the swim team now that we have some buy-in from the coaches. So one thing that I would really like to do is start to do some performance testing and some biomarker testing to actually identify areas either within training or nutrition that we can actually focus in on. So monitoring these athletes over the course of their competitive season and identifying alterations in either their nutrition or performance variables, physiological variables, you name it, and then actually coming back with it, following up with some nice targeted intervention. So that's kind of where I would like to take things as well. So working with other faculty in the department, probably other departments as well, psychology, things like that. So I think that once things get back to a nice normal state, and if we do have a competitive season this fall and winter, who knows? But there's a lot of opportunity for growth, and we're really looking to expand the sports nutrition aspect of our program and within the department. So I'm excited about it. So if we have students that are coming in with the intentions of sports nutrition, that only makes it that much better.
So we had a student asking about the combined master's program and the number of applications that you receive each year. Could you also share a little bit about that program and what that would look like for students who are interested?
Okay, so since we're fairly new, the number of applicants to accepted students is about 1-to-1. So it's not like we get 100 applications and there's 15 spots. We have been able to take every student up to this point who met the minimum grade point average. So our minimum GPA is a 3.0, and the class that we just admitted met, the students that were accepted met that grade requirements, and the students were not accepted, they had under a 3.0. I will say that I meet with students that didn't quite have the grades and talk to them about retaking classes and getting more experience, and they are welcome to continue to take classes and bring their grades up and reapply the following year. And I did have a student that did that and was accepted. So at this point in time, the numbers of applicants is relatively low to accepted.
So we have a question from Samantha, and she asked about the kind of opportunities that there are for a career that combines nutrition and dietetics and cooking. And she knows that there's a lot of job opportunities that are more medical in regards to nutrition, but she's personally interested in the food aspect. I know we have a few other students on this session today who are also interested in that.
Okay, well, that is really exciting because we do have students that went to culinary school first, and now they are in our coordinated program. And I'm always really excited when I have a student with a culinary background because I think there's such a great opportunity when you are a registered dietitian and you have culinary skills. So, for example, I know someone who, this is something they do in their private practice. If someone has to eat all pureed foods or a diet where they have to limit sodium or limit any nutrient and they think, oh, this is so overwhelming, I don't know how I'm going to make it taste good. That's what she does for a profession. She makes their meals and she delivers the meals to them. I also know someone that does that for athletes. So if you are an athlete, especially at the elite level, and all you're doing is training, 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 it's hard to eat the right things in the right amounts at the right time. And so this person has a business where they make the food and deliver it in the right amounts for an individual who, is at the Olympic level. So a lot of dietitians work in retail settings like the grocery stores where they're doing cooking demos and they incorporate that. So it's just a wide open field about what you can do with that. I think it's, gives you a lot of unique opportunities.
So we have a great question from Noor that I think also applies to a lot of students, but Noor was interested about getting involved in research with exercise science and if there's specific requirements or how early a student could get involved with research in the department.
I'll let Dr. Klein.
Yeah, so as far as getting involved in research, I think the earlier the better, as long as you aren't, neglecting your academics. So we want to make sure that you're not overextending yourself. But I have students in my lab that range from sophomores up to seniors. So it's nice because not only are you getting that experience earlier if you're a sophomore, but you're engaging with upperclassmen and you're kind of learning some of their experiences along the way. And they in return get to train some of the younger students. So it's this really nice kind of symbiotic relationship between the underclassmen and the upperclassmen. So not only are you getting the research experience, but you're kind of learning the ropes through those who have already been through it. So I would encourage anybody, if you have research interests, talk to, first identify a faculty member. Some of our information is on the website, or maybe you have us as your professor in class. Just come up after class. Again, getting back to the first thing that we were talking about, approachableness. We're always looking for ambitious and driven students that are interested in research. So if that's something that you think you're interested in, the first thing is just reach out to us. And I can't see why you wouldn't be able to get the opportunities that you really want. So yeah, do it early. And the other thing I would say is don't if the research experience isn't what you thought it was, there's no shame in saying, hey, this isn't what I thought it was, and I want to go get an experience somewhere more on the application side of things. But you don't know it until you try it and experience it. So earlier is better, and we are more than happy to accommodate freshmen up through seniors.
So we have a really good question again from Samantha, who wants to know if there's an option to get the bachelor's in nutrition and dietetics, or does that concentration require students to pursue the coordinated master's program?
She just wants a bachelor's in nutrition.
Correct.
Okay. Well, she has arrived at a good time because we are going to create a bachelor's in nutrition that would be separate from the bachelor's in nutrition and exercise science, and that would go into effect in the fall of 2021.
All right, and Desiree has a specific interest in eating disorder research, which I know you touched on a bit in the presentation, but could you talk about any research opportunities or counseling opportunities that would focus on that specific area within the program?
Okay, so we do have agreements with the Renfrew Center in Philadelphia, and so those experiences would require more, let's see, how should I put it? It's a specialized population, and so in order to be able to place a student there, you would have to complete the majority of your medical nutrition therapy courses and probably have completed like clinical rotations so that you feel fairly comfortable working with patients. And then what we do is place you in the Renfrew Center. If it's possible, extend the weeks in the rotation from maybe 2 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever they would allow. So we do have some flexibility in that. Right now, we don't have any research projects in specific eating disorders because it's a pretty sensitive population, and in general, the access to the patient population is limited. But there are some things that you could do to get some experience with eating disorders. Even in the athletes, you could have surveys and eating attitude questionnaires that you could use to identify people that might be at risk for eating disorders.
So I do want to be mindful of time since we're at about 3:45. So as we wrap up today, and I really want to thank our students for asking so many great questions and being engaged throughout the presentation. It was so nice to see so many of you on. We had about 20 students interacting throughout the session today, which was great. So, and especially to thank our Department of Nutrition for sharing so much great information today. So as we wrap up, if you could end on a piece of advice for incoming students to the nutrition program, and then we'll wrap up from there.
I think what my piece of advice is, I would try to get myself involved in the clubs. There's a nutrition care club, and let's see, there's exercise as medicine. There's the Wellness Institute. There's a lot of different clubs, and probably Dr. Klein knows a few of them. I think it really helps the students with mentoring of the upperclassmen, getting to know volunteer opportunities, getting to know the students, some of the ins and outs of the nutrition program and what classes are what, and then I think it helps you feel more connected.
Yeah, I would second that. And I guess the other thing is more of sort of a perceptual note in that when, college and studying nutrition in any degree for that matter, it's not like a checklist, even though, yeah, you have to take these courses and you have to get this GPA and you get a degree in the end. I would come into it thinking about this is really an opportunity to start building your foundation for a career and getting a wide variety of experiences, joining these clubs, getting involved with research, etc., service, things like that, and really trying to engage yourself with other students that are, like-minded and have a similar passion for this field. Not just showing up, taking an exam, and going home. We're really looking for students who are willing to go that extra mile, because if you're a dietetics student, we want good representatives of the field. But in any profession, we want to produce the best of the best coming out of Rowan. So and I think most of our students do a really good job of getting that wide variety of experiences. So getting involved early on, And as you're moving through your courses and going from freshman to sophomore to junior to senior, you're starting to take some more leadership roles. And it becomes this nice progression that by the time you're out in the field, you're off and running and you're picking up those positions that other people, you're just leaving them in the dust. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And I would say get those experiences early on.
Great. Well, thank you so much again, Dr. Tennyson and Dr. Klein. I really appreciate you taking the time today and really for our students to log on this afternoon and learn more about our program. So special congratulations again to all of our incoming students, both freshmen and transfers for this fall. We are super excited to get to meet you on campus. And for those who have asked about the recording for this presentation, it should be posted on our website as well as the Rowan University YouTube channel in about a week. But if anyone is interested in receiving the recording earlier, getting their PowerPoint copy, or just having any additional questions, I would encourage you to reach out to admissions@rowan.edu, and I can provide you with any of that information. So if you have additional questions or want to receive a copy of the PowerPoint, you can reach out to admissions@rowan.edu. Thank you all so much again, and congratulations, and we hope to see you all soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care.